talk about here. But before we talk about that, I'll throw it to you, Michael. Like, is kind of a legal question, right?
Yeah,
Like, is
yeah,
this even is it even allowed to buy a list and then email that list?
yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So, next topic here: is it allowed? Is cold emailing allowed? A lot of people might remember when the United States Congress passed the CAN-SPAM Act.
A thousand years ago.
Yeah, and I'm not a naturally sort of cynical person, but I was responsible for implementing CAN-SPAM legislation to a $500 million company, and so I thought through it very carefully. And in reality, the CAN-SPAM Act did nothing to reduce spam. I can articulate very succinctly what it did, but it does not do anything that says you can't email people. So what CAN-SPAM did is it required that anybody sending email do it in relation to a known entity related to a real physical postal address. That was a very different approach that Congress took than they could have, which would have been to control the sending domain, for example. But they said, hey, you have to say who you're sending from, and you have to have it associated with a real postal address. And then the big one was you have to offer the ability for people to unsubscribe from what they've subscribed to. And what they were really trying to infer there or get was that people had to subscribe to email to receive it. But that wasn't really in the law. What was in the law was the requirement of a physical address to be associated with the sender and the ability to opt out. And so that really threw everybody off because people thought that CAN-SPAM was going to can the spam, that it was going to reduce the spam, and it really did nothing. Now, they did go after some of the massive senders, but really what ended up happening that changed the consumer experience and really became more effective was that email clients took responsibility for the spam problem. When Google changed their inbox layout to take promotional messages and basically offload those to either spam folder or promotional message tag and offer a pre-filtered inbox, that's what changed the massive amount of behavior that was happening out there. Now, there was also at that time some federal prosecution of sort of the most notorious spammers, but those were all prosecuted based on criminal and fraudulent behavior in the emails, not actually the act of emailing.
Right.
So what this did is it kind of threw people off the scent of using cold email for, I don't know, 10 years. But then everybody said, oh, why don't we just take personal emails and streamline that and make it scalable? And so that's really what cold email is. It's like a cold call. The problem with email is it's so easy and cheap to send millions of them. The good thing about email is it's so easy and cheap to send millions of them.
Yeah.
And so the recommendations we have and the way we think about it is to move way down that spectrum toward it being a personal email and away from the cheap and easy to send millions. And so, so that's kind of what we're getting into today. But is cold emailing legal? 100%.